Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. I'm Colleen Witt, your host. Brought my apron, brought the groceries. Let's go check out Destorm Power's house. What up? Show us your home.
Welcome. Hey, come on in. This is for me?
Yeah.
All right, come on in. Hey, welcome you broke ass bitches to my home. So I'm going to straight up, we're going to start up in here. Right here, follow me on in here. This is my podcast / studio room. So you won't get one of these when you're broke. You have to actually start making money, which I decided to do in life. And then I decided to get me a podcast room. So this is where I shoot all of the music and all the podcasts and videos. If we walk over here, inside this door, if I showed you what was in here, I'd have to kill you. So over in here, if you go in here, this was a garage, but I decided to turn this into the set of the retro show. It's really beautiful. I'm shooting my new series. Everything retro, everything 80s, 90s, and 2000s happened on the retro show set. Now, most people, they use this room as a garage, but fuck that. Every room in your house has to be usable space. See, this is my illustrious trophy and / medal case. By the way, today, actually, I got 2 new nominations for the Streamy Awards. The Streamy Awards is the biggest award show for any type of digital content. I just got 2 new nominations. That's kind of dope. I got 4 Streamies. I've been nominated ever since 2013. The Streamies actually used to look like this, y'all. They was shaped like bubblegum wrappers, but they're not like that. This is my Emmy nomination. That's my YouTube when I hit 1 million back in 2011. Now, as we come into here, this is my dining area. All the artwork. I did that art piece right there. That's my artwork. And as we swing around, as I swing around here, this is my kitchen. And this is where we're going to actually shoot Eating While Broke, in this actual kitchen right here. This is actually an amazing kitchen. I need to do something with it. Now let me swing on around this way. You have my living room area right here. This area is used a lot. I don't know how big this TV is. I think it's like, I just say, give me a TV that's bigger than me. And I think they successfully pulled that off. Because when you broke, you don't get none of this stuff. So you get all the shit that you want when you actually become somebody. And I said, if I'm longer than the TV, I don't want it. This is the biggest selfie mirror in the world right here, by the way. I figured I'd just grab one of these and put my hands, and I don't even like taking pictures. I just have it because I got a lot of female friends and girls like taking pictures, so I got it for them. I don't use it. Actually, 90% of the house I don't use, by the way. So we're gonna go upstairs. This is artwork right here by my boy Don Benjamin. Right here, he did that artwork on the wall. This piece of artwork was done by me. Piece of artwork on that room, my friend Leanne V did the artwork. We don't say master bedroom anymore because Black Lives Matter and we don't have masters anymore. So this is the premier bedroom. I decided that I was gonna put a chandelier in the bedroom, which was pretty cool. I like colors, designed it all myself. I like the black and white effect that we brought to the room. I think it's really cool. And this is my closet. It's a walk-in closet because growing up, I think my closet stopped about here, but now I can actually walk back about 20 feet to actually have a closet with some good space. Don't get a big closet because it's actually, I don't even use a lot of the things in here, a lot of the shoes and stuff, I just don't use it. I got my affirmations, my 12-month goal affirmations on the wall. I got to get 5 million in the bank, grow my Facebook account, see my family and friends more because I don't see them much. I got to sell 2 projects. I got to release 4 new songs. I got to reinvest in crypto. I got a lot of things that I have to do. Let me see, if there's anything on here that's believable. I got to get my podcast to 100,000. I got to direct 4 projects, and I got to win an Emmy Award because I only have a nomination there. So that's my actual goals on the window. As we work our way to this bathroom here, this bathroom right here is the only bathroom or place in my house that has color. So I decided to make it every color in the rainbow without saying gay. Well, I love gay, but I didn't want it to be gay. I wanted it to be like colorful. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I came up with when I put every color in this bathroom right here. I thought it was pretty damn cool. Then adjacent to this, right across from there, you have the theater. So if you step into the theater room, you gotta have a theater So I decided to make this just in case I want to make some premieres or something. So I put a theater upstairs with a couple of shows that I did on the walls there. I thought that was pretty cool. This is a really important room because this room right here is every prop that we pretty much use. I gotta neatify it, but we have everything from choir outfits to band outfits. We have every mask you can think of, every color wig that you can think of, every hat, every top. We have cop outfits, we have tactical wear, we have skeletons, everything that you need for any type of comedy sketch that we collected over the years. We put them all into this closet right here. So that's basically, I don't go to Party City anymore. I just go into this closet if I need something for a sketch. I think I'm gonna expand a little more when I get a chance. And thanks for coming to my Oh, one more thing. When you get a house, you gotta have a book that you can pull that leads you into a club room, right? So this is my, I like to call this the boom boom room. And this is where we have the pole and the things that go down whenever you get a home of your own. Yeah, so you gotta have a boom boom room.
I didn't even know you had this. I can't believe this, a theater, a secret room, and all I do is push weights in your backyard?
You never asked for a tour.
Oh
I would have
God.
been brought you upstairs. I don't even use the rooms in here. I told you I only use 10% of the house. We only watch 2 movies in there. I definitely don't use the boom boom room unless someone wants to come in there and spin on the pole. You want to spin on the pole?
No, I'm good. But I want you to cook us something to eat and tell us some of this behind the scenes of how you acquired all this. So I can, maybe house sit sometimes. Come on.
All right, let's get something to eat.
You could have said it to that camera, though.
I thought he said say this.
He said this camera.
Oh, my bad.
Welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. Today we decided to step outside of the podcast studio and into someone's house. Whose house? Destorm Power's house. Entrepreneur, social media mogul. Here we are about to eat probably one of the brokest dishes of the season. So the broker the dish, probably the better the story. So the question is, Destorm.
Yeah.
What are you gonna have us eating today?
I'm going to have us eating syrup sandwiches. Now, there's a science to the syrup sandwich. It has 2 ingredients. So you have your bread. This is for you.
Thank you.
This is for me.
Thanks for touching my bread too.
Come on. This is
We in the hood now, right?
Yeah.
In a mansion in the hood.
We share. And then you have your syrup.
Okay, perfect.
That's it. So do you want me to make
Yeah,
one?
make one.
Okay,
Serve me up.
This is how you make a syrup sandwich.
Here, I thought we would need a
All right,
whole.
you're done.
Damn, I'm very impressed with your.
That's it. So now you just fold it. I'll make me one. Boom, like that.
And you do this angle with your?
You can, but what I do is I just take it and I just.
You fold it in half.
Then I
We
fold
don't
it
get
in
2
half.
pieces of bread.
No, because you have family. Family has to eat too. Don't be stingy. So
How
you take
many?
it, you fold it in half.
Fold it in half. Got
Yep.
it.
And then you eat it. You eat it from
Cheers.
the back. You eat it from the back because you got to save the ends for dinner. All right. So
Is this real? Did
I'm
you
good.
You saved the ends for dinner?
yeah. Or you could just peel them off. Some people just like to peel it
It
off
tastes pretty good.
because the ends are different. They have a different flavor to them. So you
I mean,
take
this
the
is-
edges, and that's like a totally different meal.
Maybe if the middle is too sweet, maybe you use it to
Well-
soften the blow of the sweetness.
No, because you just take the sweetness. So you can
I
put
mean,
you
look how.
it puts you in a food coma. So therefore, you don't have to worry about eating to the next day.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a lot. I can't believe we should eat this. It's crazy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just too much
Yeah.
syrup, but I'm surprised you made it to
I'm
live.
gonna just eat some of my dinner right now. Dinner portion. Okay.
So
That's it.
where did this dish come from? Like, what happened? What was going on at the time when you guys were consuming dinner ends?
I think what happens is you run out of food. So that's where it starts. No, so we ran out of food, and my mother knew someone who worked at the supermarket. At most supermarkets around the country, what they do with the bread that they don't use, they throw it out. So because she had to connect, they would throw the bread out behind the supermarket. So we would just go and get the leftover bread. And then the syrup, we could just get that from McDonald's. We could get that from KFC or any place, because they have the little syrup packets. So you take the syrup packets with the leftover bread, you got yourself a meal.
Storm, you were seriously that broke?
Yeah.
How do you come from syrup sandwiches to, please, can I move in with you? This house is amazing.
Oh, this? This is just for the set. This ain't even mine. No.
This is definitely yours.
No. It was just a lot of work, a lot of faith, a lot of work, and I had a plan. I had it all in my head.
You had a plan, but in that environment, sitting there with your siblings, how many siblings did you have?
I have 7 siblings, so there's 8 of us. So it was my mother, the 8 of us, my 2 cousins. My cousin had a child, so it was about 13 of us in a 1-bedroom.
So 1 loaf of bread lasts 1 meal, I would assume, excluding the dinner.
We grab a couple of loaves, and if you was
No.
lucky to get some bagels lasted because they're thicker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you get the bagels. The bagels are more dense.
Yeah.
So if you get the bagels, you're good for 2 days.
What I love about your story is the fact that I can honestly say I was never this broke. And the fact that in your house, I'm assuming, did you guys see yourselves as poor or broke?
No, we was cool.
You was cool.
We didn't. I think it's about who your parent is, right? My mother never let us realize we were broke because she would go to the thrift stores and get us like little puzzles and things to keep us busy while she would work and things. So we would have little odd jobs here and there, and she just kept us busy with what we did. So we never even thought about it being broke until someone like you brought it up. Damn, this was a delicatessen in my house.
I'm sorry. This the new pancake.
Disrespect my dinner.
So when was the last time you ate this dish?
No, it's been years. I'm not even gonna lie. I haven't had bread in years. I don't eat bread or rice or any of that.
So
definitely don't eat syrup.
You would classify this as unhealthy.
This is very unhealthy. I don't eat it at all.
Okay.
No. Once you learn about nutrition, you don't touch this stuff. But
Okay.
back then, you have to survive. You eat. I'd take a whole loaf if I had to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when you're eating this, you're saying you always had a plan. When did that plan hit you?
I think the plan hit me when me and my brothers, we had a song that hit the radio in Baltimore. And in Baltimore, they have their own thing. They have club music, just like DC has go-go music and Chicago has their own music. So we had made a song and it hit the radio, and I knew. My mother said, wow, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Go to New York. And then we threw a little party, and then I just packed up, the clips that we all pitched in for, and I drove to New York. It was scary, but I knew once because I knew this one, I was doing all these drops. I was doing 40, 50 drops for different DJs around the country. This is when the internet was like brand new. And then this dude, he worked over at, I think, Bad Boy Records. And he was like, yo, why don't you come out to New York? And so I said, I believed him. So I kind of drove out to New York. I just took the drove. I drove to Harlem. And when I was like 18 years old.
I'm guessing you didn't have a lot of money.
I didn't have any money.
So you drive there, you have enough to pay for gas.
I had enough to pay for gas. And so when I got there, there was this website called sublet.com. So on sublet.com, I was leasing out this crackhead's bedroom. She was a crackhead in Harlem, and she would lease out a bedroom, but she had a pimp. So eventually I wasn't able to pay his rent. So the pimp came to the door and he kicked me out of her apartment. So then eventually I had to live in my car. So then from my car, I was singing in the subway for money. So in New York, you can sing it,
I know the hustle.
Yeah, so I was singing in the subway and rapping the subway, so they would put money in my hat. So I would use that money to eat and to pay for gas because I needed heat and to heat the car because it was the wintertime.
Yeah, and winters in New York, no joke.
Oh, it's terrible.
So did you ever apply at some point of desperate measures? I always think this as a homeless person, like in New York, I'm like, yo, I'm going to just try to go to jail for the winter, maybe.
I didn't. No, because I had to be free so I can kind of, like
make moves.
So to make moves. So because I was working at Red Lobster as well. I was working at Red Lobster Times Square the first year that it opened up. Because I had a job I had 30 jobs, by the way. And one of my jobs was Red Lobster when I was in Maryland, Baltimore. And they transferred my job over to New York. But I lost that job the first week I was there.
Why?
Because I had braids in my hair, and the manager was racist.
Oh,
yeah. So
short and sweet. You were like, I'm not cutting my braids.
I was like, no. I was,
yeah.
I couldn't. We all read the Bible. You can't cut your hair. That's your power. So
no, yeah.
I didn't cut my hair, and I lost my job at Red Lobster that year. And with my last check, I bought an amp. I bought that microphone. I bought 2 outfits because in New York you have to look good. I bought the 2 outfits. I bought some tents for the windows of the car that I had, and what else? Oh, and I bought some CDs. So I burned all my demos onto CDs. I tinted the windows on my car myself. I bought the amp and the keyboard so I could sing in the subways, and I bought the 2 outfits so I could look good.
So you were prepared.
I was prepared. Oh, and I paid my cell phone bill for 2 months because I said if I don't do this in 60 days, my mama gonna kill me.
Wow.
So she would call me, and I'm like, yeah, Mom, with Diddy right now. I didn't even know Diddy.
You just didn't want to stress her out.
didn't want to stress her out because she had other things to take care of. So I told her I was killing in New York. I was homeless.
Wow.
So I'm in New York singing in the subways and everything. Then one day I came home and my car was burnt down. I guess had electrical fire or something like that. And everything that I owned was in that car. So eventually I had to actually live in the subway stations. And I had to do that for about 45 days or so.
Damn, that must have been tough.
It
At that
wasn't bad.
point, did you at least think, maybe it's time to go pack up and go back to Baltimore?
Yeah, I did. And when I got to the moment where I thought I'd go back to Baltimore, I remember I had these bags around my feet and I was walking through the snow and I was like, damn, I'm gonna call my brother and tell him I didn't make it in New York, even though I was lying to them the whole time. So when I went to make the telephone call to call my brother, I'm calling him up. And I remember when I was singing in the subways, people would give me their cards and stuff. So when I went to make the call, one of the cards that they gave me fell in the snow. I picked up the card and I'm like, should I call the number on this card or should I just call my brother? I said, I'm gonna call the number on the card. I'm already here. So I called the number on the card and this Dominican girl answers the phone. It's like, oh my goodness, oh my God, yo, my boss loves your demo, it's dope. And I'm lying to her. I was like, well, if your boss loves my demo, tell him he can pull up on me right now because I got these interviews at Universal Records. I was lying. But I could tell by her enthusiasm that she was serious. Yeah. So she said, no, let me put him on the phone. So she put Jonathan on the phone. He gets on the phone. He's like, yo, Destorm, I love your shit, man. Why don't you come on down to my joint? And I was like, yeah, I'll come down there right now. He was like, no, I'm going to the Hamptons. And I was like, well, I got these meetings over at J Records. I'm lying again. He's like, no, come down here right now. I didn't have money to get on the subway. So I jumped the turnstile. Wow. I caught the train down to the Lower East Side. And when I get to his place, he had plaques all over his walls and everything. And he's like, yo, man, I can get you drops on MTV, VH1, BET. I can get you to write for these artists. And I knew he was serious because of the work that he had around. Yeah. I was like, all right, look, I'm going to be honest with you, Jonathan. Look, I'm broke. I've been living on the street for like 45 days or
Did
so.
you at least show up with a bag or you
left
the bag on the corners?
No, so what I did, I used to shower in Macy's. So I would take a shower in Macy's and then
How did you shower in Macy's?
Because you go to the sinks. They got to go in the sink. You clean up or whatever. Then I would, with a little bit of money I made, sometimes I buy stuff or I just use the 5-finger discount and just, get a couple of t-shirts or whatever and then do what I had to do to get new outfits. So I look fresh. So he was like, nah, you look good. I was like, nah, I've been on the streets because, you gotta look good. So then I was like, look, I'll be honest with you. If you cut me a check right now, I'll work for you and you get me off the streets or whatever and I'll give you what you need. So he cut me a check and eventually I went from a hostel to an apartment to a loft to, working my way up. And then I started getting placements on VH1, MTV. Then I worked over at Universal, went to J Records. From J, I went to Atlanta. I met Whitney Houston at J Records under Jeff Finster. Yeah, it was dope. Wrote 3 songs that she never used, by the way. Then I went over Atlantic Records.
Did you at least get to hear them?
I got to meet her and everything. Yeah, she sang. She started. I met her and everything. Yeah, it was dope. Then from there, I went over to Atlantic Records, where I wrote for a few artists. I was a ghostwriter over there for about 2 years. And then the music started to slow down because back then you were a ghostwriter. So what I did was all the while I was running track and things like that. So I got my certifications from pre-postnatal. I got my ACSM. I got my NASM. NASA. These are all physical personal trainer certifications.
So you were always hustling.
Yeah, I was a personal trainer on the side, just in case the music wasn't selling. So then I started a boot camp in Brooklyn, and I would train like 50 to 100 people in the park, in Brooklyn Park. And I was working at Crunch Fitness, New York Sports Club. Wow. And I was just doing different jobs in New York so that I can kind of build my empire.
Wow. What's the craziest job you've ever had?
I was a stripper for a while when I was in college, but I would say the craziest job, I was an escort. So that was crazy. Because I did demolition, construction, telemarketing. I had about 30 jobs.
So I have to circle back to the escorting. Like, what's the craziest escorting story? Do you have one?
So when I was an escort, it was a bunch of old rich white women, right? And they didn't want to can I curse?
Curse, go ahead.
So they didn't want to fuck you, right? They just wanted to kind of just have company, right? They just wanted good company. I didn't really sleep with the clients or whatever. And my pimp was like this girl, she was like 19 or whatever. And she was like, she was
Your pimp was a girl?
Yeah, she was making sure we worked. She was my friend. I just called her my pimp.
Okay.
And she was making sure that we had work. So I went to this one woman's house, and I guess she was about 60, I don't know. And I was young back then. She was like 50s, I guess. I don't know. She felt old. And when I got to her house, she was like, yo, your outfit's upstairs in the closet. And I was like, my outfit's upstairs in the closet. So she was like, yeah. So she was sitting there with her wine in her hand. She's sitting back like this and shit. And I'm like, yo, what do you mean your outfit's upstairs in the closet? And then she's like, go upstairs in the closet and get your outfit. So I goes up to the top of the stairs. She lived in this mansion or shit. So I get up to the top of the stairs, and when I opened the closet or whatever, there was a panda outfit. So I had to wear a panda outfit with the, it was so fucked up. So I had to wear a panda outfit with the midsection gone. So it's like my dick's out, and I'm just like standing there, just like dancing in front of her, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she's just sitting up there just enjoying it. Like, yeah, my husband doesn't have one of those, man. And then she was just like, man, dingo. And it was like, it was a thing.
Was that like one of your last escort sessions?
No. I think my last one was after this woman blindfolded me. And then, so I see her at the door, and she puts a blindfold on me, and I have to turn around and walk backwards into her house and shit. And then she lays me down on the bed. She starts reading me like children's stories and shit.
Oh, yeah. I think that would be my last one.
I was really, so.
So how do you go from all these experiences and hitting these little bumps, side hustling, and still saying, okay, I'm going to keep going?
Motivation, like I think what motivated me was seeing what my mother went through. And I'm like, if she could take care of like 12 people, and she didn't complain once. I've never seen someone ever not complain like this woman. And she loved life. She would just have fun. Well, we're going to have fun. All of us is going to go out. She never was like, oh my God, the bills are not paid. And we were moving. I went to 5 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, and 2 high schools. So you got to think, we were getting evicted so much growing up. I mean,
and you never knew.
I never knew. I dropped out of school in 9th grade.
Wow.
I didn't even finish high school. I didn't do 10th, 11th, and 12th. I went back to go to college when I got my GED, and I got a free ride because I was a sprinter. But I never even finished high school. I never even did prom or anything. But we were getting evicted the whole time, and we thought that we would just move into a better place. She's like, we moving again, y'all? Yeah, we about to move. I'm like, oh, we moving again? Let's go. She made it a moment instead of making it the opposite, because most people will take that experience and be like, oh man, we're getting kicked out. She's like, we get to go and get some new walls to draw on, because every time we get a new place, I draw murals on the wall. I was an artist. Like all the paintings in my house, I did most of the paintings in the house. Like that one, the one behind us, all these paintings I did. My mother knew that I loved art, and she just said, just draw on the walls. We're gonna be out here in a few months anyway. So I would draw murals on the walls. And eventually that paid off, because by the time I was 16, 17 years old, I would get a few $100, maybe $1,000 here and there to actually draw in churches and in mosques and synagogues, to draw like, the Last Supper and things on walls and things. So all that kind of like just growing up, she would keep us busy and active with what we did. So we never, like we would build forts, like, man, Mom, we ain't got no furniture. She was like, well, I brought you sheets, just build forts, so we would do, she was just clever. She was the perfect like mother, so I always through life, I just be like, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't care what goes wrong. I'm gonna look at what goes right, and then I'm gonna figure out how to make it work, no matter who I'm with, whether I've injured myself, this, that, and other. I remember when I broke my knee, and the doctor told me, he said, you'll never even walk properly again. And you've seen me, you work out with me. I'm jumping,
like a crazy person.
Sprinting, dunking basketballs.
Nobody wants to work out with you.
Yeah, I don't let people tell me no.
Yeah.
So when she had that same attitude, and although she didn't have the business mind behind it like I do have, she had the attitude that lets you know that we're going to be unstoppable, and I think that's very important.
So now you've been around as an entrepreneur and a social media mogul forever, it seems. I feel like every time a new platform comes out, you're like so versatile. You literally, for lack of a better word, I feel like you birthed millionaires. Like everyone in your circle, you played a tremendous role in their success. So my question is how are you able to keep transitioning every time something new happens?
Them. So I know I'm getting older, you know what I'm saying? I'm damn near 40. So like what I'm gonna do is I find new people, new talent, and then they're gonna keep your name alive. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the gospel. If people continue to talk about Jesus, Jesus is gonna remain Jesus. So I look at it like that every time I find someone new that's talented. I don't want to be your manager. I don't want to be your agent. Yeah. If we're cool and we get along, I'm your friend. And it's a real friendship, you know what I'm saying? I don't want anything from you. In return, I already know that if I create a real friendship, and I've made more millionaires than a lotto did, like Jay-Z said, right? Yeah. That's just what it is. So tons of millionaires. And what I do is, if they're my friends, people going to have interviews with these successful people. They're going to sit at Eating While Broke, and they're going to like, dang, you were like, yeah, how did you get your start? They're like, oh yeah, Destorm helped me out. You know, he was the person that kind of helped me get into it. So they keep my name alive. And at the end of the day, if you're managing someone taking 20%, right? I can't afford their rates anymore. I mean, technically I could, but I'm not going to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars to post, right? No. They're going to post about it for free. If I come out with a food company, if I come out with a clothing brand, if I come out with new music, all my friends that I've helped become successful, they're going to show love because I showed them love.
Now, how are you able to, like, when you look at how many platforms you transitioned from? You went from YouTube
I
to
started
Vine,
on
MySpace,
yeah,
YouTube,
to YouTube,
Vine,
to
Instagram,
to Facebook,
to
TikTok, yeah.
But you remain, I would like to say, in the world of like boxing, it would be like you remain undefeated. You're always at the top. How are you able to transition and choose the platform?
I think what it is a lot of people don't realize that there's a different audience on every platform. And although I'm not the biggest on any platform, I'm one of the best on every platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And you're the most consistent.
And I try to stay consistent, right? Because on every platform, there's a different audience. Like my YouTube audience don't even know that I do. They know me for my music. They don't even know that I do comedy sketches. I'll do comedy sketches. They're like, this shit's terrible. You know, I'm like, yo, I've been doing this for years, bro. So when I realized that years ago, I said, they're not coming out of YouTube. The people on Instagram are not leaving Instagram because people are lazy. They're not going to leave that platform. So I said, well, then I'm just going to have to grow in every platform. Wow. So I'll just make sure I grow in Facebook. I'll make sure I grow in Instagram. I'll make sure I grow in YouTube. And sometimes I'll just cross-reference and just put the same content on some. But for the most part, I try to say, what's the best thing I need to do for YouTube? What's the best thing I need to do for Facebook? What's the best thing I need to do for Instagram? Because they're different worlds. My YouTube content is not like my Instagram content because YouTube is more of a cult following of the people that really like involved. Instagram is more like universal. You just have everybody there. Yeah. Facebook is like more family oriented, right? It's like that's the peoples from back in school and everything. So once you learn who the audience is, you make the content for the audience.
And how are you able to depict that? Like say for instance, let's choose Vine. Okay, how are you able, you killed Vine, and I know there's an amazing backstory that I want everybody to hear about. But you killed Vine, but how are you able to pinpoint that audience and cultivate an amazing elite group of talented individuals?
I think for me, it was high schoolers. Juniors and seniors are the people who decide what's dope. I don't care what anyone says.
I agree with that.
That's how
100% agree.
Because you have to understand, freshmen and sophomores want to be like juniors and seniors. Once you're finished being a senior in high school, you go to college and life hits you. You have to get a job. You have to do that. You have to do the other. When you're in middle school, you're still trying to figure shit out. Elementary school doesn't really count. And once you're grown, you don't really count. You're just doing what's hot. Yeah. But when you're a junior and you're a senior in high school, that's the moment of life when everything is just cool. You're just doing it because it's fucking cool. You don't care. You don't really have too many responsibilities. You do, but you don't, right? So I see what the juniors and seniors is on. When Vine came out, I was like, at the time, I was like, oh my God, like the kids are really on, they're on this app, not just because it's popular, but because it's cool. They just love fucking using it. So whenever they're doing, I'm like, all right, I gotta kind of like get involved and see what they're on.
Yeah. So I would say that juniors and seniors to me are a tricky audience because unlike elementary kids that just buy into whatever Elmo or whatever you put in front of them, middle schoolers that are still trying to figure it out, and then everybody else that's looking up to the juniors and seniors kind of know their power.
They know their
and
power.
they're like, don't try to sell me this.
Right.
I'm gonna find the crack in the Covey and the Jay-Z under the rock and
they find the new artists.
Yeah, they're like the Nike. Like Nike always signs someone before they pop. They're like, right before you pop, here's this check. And I feel like, how are you able to say this is the platform that the juniors and seniors are gonna buy into? Do you wait like a couple weeks because you're on it ahead of time?
You kind of can feel it, especially after you've been doing something for a while. I think one thing that I've been blessed with is the knack to know if someone's dope. I rarely fail when I see talent. And a lot of people are like, oh, you don't see no talent. How do you see talent in that person? I don't know. And it's not just the talent to sing or rap or dance or have a specific skill set. It's the talent, I feel, the hardest talent in the world is keeping people's attention. So like if you look at the Kardashians, for example, I think they're very talented because a lot of people can't keep people's attention for a decade. Just people watching you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's very difficult to do. Although a lot of people may say, oh my God, they don't do nothing. Yes, they do. They got millions of people just watching you. You know how hard it is to have people just want to see what you do. Yeah. And that's a talent in itself.
And they did it for a long time.
Forever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Literally. So,
and here I thought it was the asses.
No, the asses are there. But there's ass everywhere, right?
Yeah.
There's ass on Instagram. There's ass on YouTube. There's free ass on Pornhub, right? So it can't be just the ass, right? So it's more than that, to be able to keep people's attention. So I see that in people, and I'm like, wow, this person can keep my attention, because I have a very, very short attention span. So if someone keeps my attention, I'm like, oh my God, then they have it. And then if you have an ability to come along with it, whether you sing or dance or rap or speak or anything, then you're just doubling down on you're going to be a star, you know, and that's what it is.
So I know we got to wrap up soon.
Okay.
I have to hit you with this.
Oh boy.
When it comes to Vine, okay, I want to hear the rise and the fall. Now, we're friends. I've heard, you know, some of the behind the scenes when it came to Vine, but I would love it if you could share how one misstep on Vine's behalf took down an entire platform.
So with Vine, one thing that we did was, I was before the times when it comes to short form comedy and sketches. I was doing short form sketches on YouTube, like really short form, and no one wanted to accept it. It was like, this is whack. No one wants to do this. Get out of here. And I remember my company failed and we lost millions of dollars. I mean, the company just flopped. And I was like, wow, like, what am I going to do? But I had already had a lot of people looking up to me, like, you know, it's like, this is what, you know, we looked up to you. We have a company. It was called Forefront TV. And we had like Batch, and we had like, you know, the whole squad was good. And Paige Kennedy and all of the guys, mostly the Black and brown creators that you see today on the internet. But I was the president of the company, and I kind of felt like I failed them. And one day I think I saw Kevin Hart on Vine, and he wasn't doing comedy sketches or anything, but it was an app that people would do short selfies to let you know where they were, type thing.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys, I'm out here, this is where I'm at. I was like, yo, suppose we do a sketch in 6 seconds on the platform.
Which would be almost impossible.
Which is impossible to do. I said, then everybody would watch it, and it'll be something that's different for the world. So I remember me, Batch, my boy Kane, and Simone Shepherd, we did the first actual sketch on Vine. And it went super viral. Like World Star picked it up, a whole bunch of other places picked it up, but we did like a sketch. So then we called ourselves Viners, which wasn't a phrase yet. It was like, yo, we're out here vining, we're the LA Viners. So then Detroit got involved, and New York, and you know, Philly and Florida, and then vining became a thing that we kind of created. So we started vining, and then from there, the problem was, as we grew on Vine, we had millions and millions and millions of fans. And I remember even Batchett broke a Guinness World Record for the most followers. Guinness gave him a plaque or something, right? And then what happened was I went to Karen over at Vine. It's funny, her name's Karen. And I said, Karen, because on Vine, what happens if enough kids flag your content, it automatically gets pulled down.
Oh.
So I emailed Karen. I said, Karen, we're the biggest Viners in the world, and these kids are pulling down our content, and then it's not inappropriate. It's appropriate content, but they're haters pulling down our content. We just want an email from you guys so that we can contact you and let you know this is our content getting pulled down. Can you put it back up? Because we lose our momentum, and this is our job. Companies are coming to us paying us 6 figures to post Vines. They were giving us $100,000 for one Vine.
Just so they can have like a background in it or something?
No, companies like begging
but
and
like,
stuff like that.
they would just pay you for what though? To create a 6 second?
To create a 6 second Vine for their company. Whether it was, you know, Badu or just different companies that was big at the time, would just pay us like, here's $50,000, give us 6 seconds. Here's $100,000, give us 6 seconds. It was just one of those type of things, right? And at this point, they didn't want to give us that. And we said, we also want one more thing. We want to be the link out to our other accounts, so whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. They said no. So I was like, well, we are the, 99% of the people are coming to watch us. We're the reason the app's alive. She said, you're the 1%. There's 99% other of people using our platform, and you are the 1%. We're not going to do that for you. I said, well, suppose I told the 1% to walk. Well, then what are you going to do? Well, you tell the 1% to walk. We still got our 99%.
Oh.
So I said, all right, bitch. I'm going to call the 1%. So I called up, about 100 of the top creators in the world on Vine at the time. And I said, oh, we're not gonna do this no more. Let's go and walk and go over to Instagram. They got 15 seconds anyway. So we dipped. And when we dipped, I think the company...
They got 15 seconds anyways.
Yeah, so when we dipped, the company lost about 60% of their profit within a week. I mean, Vine crashed. I mean, you could look it up.
Wow, yeah. I remember.
They lost a couple
fell off.
$1 million. Yeah. They fell off. Mm-hmm. So then Karen calls me up. Hey, Destorm, hi. Can I have a meeting with you guys? You know what I'm saying? So we appropriately met with Karen at 1600 Vine Street, which is where a lot of the Viners stay. Hilariously. And we sat in the conference room, myself with 20 other Viners. And I told Karen that day, I was like, look, if we want to continue to use your platform, I want you to pay everybody in the room, $1 million. And I want $2 million for pain and suffering. So they agreed to pay all the Viners in the room the money. Mm-hmm. And we were supposed to post 2 vines a week to get the numbers back up. But someone in the room at the time told 15 others about the deal. And those 15 others wanted monies too. But it was like, we don't have $45 million. We got 20. Mm-hmm. So they wasn't able to pay. So no one ever went back to Vine, and Vine died.
Damn, Karen. So at one point you did mention that you were a millionaire, you had success, and then at one point you lost.
Twice. I went bankrupt twice. I remember one time I had $7 million in my account, and then I went down 700 or 7,000, I think.
What are you thinking at that time?
I was like, yo, I'm not as broke as I was when I was in New York, so I could get it back again. There was more money than I had. It's more money when I was living in the subway.
Wow.
So I was like, I know the blueprint. I just got to figure it out and not make the same mistakes. You know how you fix a Rubik's Cube, you make it wrong time?
No part of you was like, maybe this is my time to...
Be broke?
Yeah.
No.
Not once.
Because I've been broke.
You weren't embarrassed?
No.
I'm going to go from living in the hills to, hey, can I sleep on your couch?
I wasn't, because I think what people have to realize is when you look at success and becoming successful, you ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen if you take this chance? And the worst thing that can happen is you go back to where you were. And I was already there.
Syrup sandwiches?
Right. So
and your mom didn't make it seem painful either.
Right. So I've already been here. So how can I be afraid of something that I've already seen? You know what I'm saying? It's like someone trying to shock you and you're surprised. And then they try to do it again. It's like, oh, yeah, I already know you're going to be right there. Yeah. So I'm not shocked. I just got to figure out how to get around this obstacle so that I can move forward. There's times where I go through financial problems like everyone does. No matter what scale or level you are, you're going to see financial hardships because you have the franchise tax board, you have the IRS, you have things you invest in that don't go well. I've made many investments because in order to continue to be successful, we have to make big investments and take big chances. Yeah, that's just what it is. You can't be safe. So at the time, if I'm taking a big chance and I've invested $1 million into something and it doesn't come through, it's like, oh shit, now what am I going to do? Now I got to figure it out. I wasn't afraid, no.
So closing out, what are some pieces of advice or maybe some golden nuggets that either carried you through or that you would give to someone that doesn't get the opportunity to meet you and get your blessing of support in person?
I think the most important thing for most people is consistency. You have to be consistent because there are going to be people, friends, family, people in your life that just don't believe in your dream. Mm-hmm. They just won't. And the crazier your dream, the more successful you'll be. There's times where I dreamed big, but I didn't even dream big enough. Like when I got the Emmy nomination, for example, I remember standing in the CBS with What's Good, and then he was like, I said, I'm going to get an Emmy nomination next year. He said, you don't even do TV content. I said, I'm going to get it off the internet. He said, really? I said, yeah, we'll figure it out. And I got the nomination, and I punched myself because I didn't ask for the actual win. I only asked for the nomination, which is what I got. So I think you have to ask for the biggest things in life. And when you ask for those things, they'll come to you. You just got to figure out how to get there. Consistency is key. You have to believe it wholeheartedly yourself. Because if you don't believe it and you're doubting yourself, I never put negative shit out into the atmosphere.
Damn, I do that all the time. I get scared.
You can't get scared.
I get scared.
You can't. But why? Because again, what's the worst thing that happened? You back to syrup
sandwiches.
And this is not that expensive.
No,
you're good.
It was the cheapest dish on the episode.
So consistency is key. And just finding your lane and stop and not doing what everyone else is doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my lane. I could have went other routes once I got successful, but I said, why not just stay in my lane?
Yeah.
So.
I love it. I think you're a blessing to this community. I think you're a blessing to so many young people. The fact that you take your time, and I, as a personal friend, I come to your workouts I'm always I'm always the last one putting behind.
Nah, you work. You pull up.
But the fact that you take time and you look past, you don't look at someone for their wallet or, their background. You're just like, come as you are. And you Joe Jackson they ass a little bit. You Joe Jackson they ass.
Sometimes you need that. So you need somebody to kick your ass. At the end of the day, you're moving forward.
Yeah.
Aren't you? I mean, you was fit as fuck the last time you were.
I showed up roly-poly and walked away like 30 pounds lighter last time.
Yep.
I produced a whole baby, and now I'm small again thanks to you.
It's work. I mean, I'm gonna cuss you out every day, but
every day.
But you're gonna keep showing up.
I'm gonna keep showing up. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you opening up your home, letting us tour your home.
Yep.
And hopefully, one day when you're out of town, maybe I could house it. You never know. Never know.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna buy the house next door and then put a tunnel that leads from the walkway over to that house.
I hope to get there. I really hope all my subscribers can share their meal on Eating While Broke at Eating While Broke, and hopefully inspire me to somehow figure out how to move next door into Destorm's house without him knowing.
That's called the cops. I'm calling them. No,
Thanks, Karen.
There you go.
There you go.
With that.